Now, I've made quite a few videos about my thoughts about Apple as a whole. Locking this, locking that, iPhone this, iPhone that, AirPods, Apple Watches, Macs, whatever, iPads. I've had some pretty strong thoughts about the iPhone, but this isn't about that. This is actually to praise Apple. Right now, I'm looking at two Macs. Thoroughly enjoy both of them. An M1 Pro, 16-inch MacBook Pro, and an M2 MacBook Air. I've recently made a video talking about there's no reason to upgrade to M3 anything if you have an Apple Silicon Mac already. That's my opinion. But I've also said, well, you shouldn't buy some Windows laptops right now because Qualcomm is supposed to be releasing their ARM chips or their Snapdragon X Elite chips later this year. You should wait. You should hold off. And I still feel that. I definitely feel that way. I know I'm not buying any Windows laptops anytime in the next 5, 6, 7 months. I had some in my watch list and eBay, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, these AMD chips are more efficient than what they had last year, but the Qualcomm chips should be substantially better, and I can just wait. I don't need another laptop right now, so there's no reason for me to even be watching these laptops on eBay. So I got rid of them all. But the one thing that, like, I guess I don't know if I've ever said it, but I need to make it clear is that, yeah, the chip that Qualcomm is making is only half the battle, if it's half. I don't even know, but it's all. The true thing is it needs to be a total package. So the reason I love these Macs is because they are total packages. The Air, and is what it is. It's lightweight. It's portable. The screen is good. The keyboard is good. The trackpad is good. The speakers are fine. But with the Apple Silicon, battery life is amazing. Yes, in fact, I know I need to charge it right now. I probably should be charging it right now, but I'm not. But I'm not constantly worried about, the battery life is running out too quick, so let me keep it on the charger the same way I think about my Windows laptops. The 16-inch one, even better in terms of everything except for portability, because it's just a bigger laptop. Is it still portable? Absolutely. And I hate when I see these people talking about, oh, well, this one is a third of a pound heavier, so it's a little less portable. Can you pick it up? Yes. Will it fit into most backpacks? Yes. And for that, I could see. If it just flat out doesn't fit in your backpack, then yeah, it would suck for you to have to buy a new backpack because this laptop that you happen to purchase is a little bit bigger. But in terms of portability, it is still portable. And I almost think that's just a yes or no question, not how portable is it. Because it's like, oh, well, this netbook is even more portable than this MacBook Air. But this netbook is so small that it's not usable. Or this cell phone is even more portable than this MacBook Air because it fits in your pocket and the MacBook Air doesn't. And I'm like, but it's supposed to be small and they're both easily, whatever. So yeah, for all that just to say, the MacBook Pro is just a bigger device. So the footprint that it has is a little bit bigger. But it is a total package. The screen is amazing. Better than the MacBook Air. It has the mini LED as opposed to it just being an LCD panel. Even though mini LEDs are still LCD, whatever. But great. A bunch of local dimming, things like that. Peak brightness is what it is. Color reproduction, great. Bezels are relatively small. The front-facing camera is pretty good. The FaceTime camera is what they call it. Yeah, Apple calls it FaceTime HD camera. So yeah, it's a good camera for a laptop. Great. So looking at that panel, no complaints there. Keyboard. I believe it's the exact same keyboard as what's in the MacBook Air. So I've already said that keyboard is great. So this keyboard is equally great. Touch ID on both devices. Great. I mean, I was talking to somebody about that the other day, that something as simple as that, Apple has found a way to make it really, really good. And when I think about the Windows laptop that I have, using my fingerprint, it's never reliable. Like, it works, but not reliably. And like, you notice that. It's just like, I know my finger's registered and it's just not working. And then you either have to type your pin in or password or whatever. And some of the laptops I have, they have facial recognition. So, and the facial recognition on the Windows laptops is pretty reliable. So, from a hardware perspective, I could imagine some of them are like, look, we already put this camera array up here. Use that instead. Cool, got it. But Touch ID on the Mac, really like it. Battery life, really good. Because, again, the ARM chip is what it is. Performance with the M1 Pro that I'm getting on this MacBook Pro is great. Like, I have a Mac Studio upstairs, and yeah, it has more cores. It's going to be faster. You know, there's a Max chip in there instead of this. But for daily computing, I'm down here right now because that room is not climate controlled, so it's cold up there right now. So I'm just like, I'm not going. I could turn on the space heater, but this room's already warm. So I'm going to continue using this MacBook Pro instead of the machine that's a little bit faster. No, so yeah, performance-wise, I have no gripes with this thing. The speakers are great. In fact, I was listening to music earlier. You know, like, yeah, I could have put my headphones on, and normally I do, and I was like, wait a minute. The speakers are really good on this 16-inch device, so let me just listen to music. There's nobody else in the house right now, so I had no issues. Just, yeah, blasting some music just from laptop speakers. Are they the best things you ever hear? No. But for laptop speakers, they are really good. I/O. You have two USB-C I think they're Thunderbolt 3 ports. Two on the left side, one on the right. You have a full-size SD card slot, HDMI slot, headphone jack. And I think that's... Oh, and of course the MagSafe thing, MagSafe port, which I don't use because you can charge the device using the USB-C ports. So, great. Cost. Buying this stuff brand new, I would not recommend. Buying them used, I would absolutely recommend. For my 16-inch device, which has the M1 Pro, so not the Max, but the M1 Pro, 512 storage, which non-removable or non-user upgradable, and 32 gigs of RAM, again, non-removable, user upgradable. I think I paid $1,500, which is roughly 50% of what it would have been had I bought it brand new. I mean, the 16-inch model starts at $2,500, and I know if you go from 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, that's $200. But to go from 16 to 32 gigs of RAM, is that $200 or is that $400? I don't remember, and I'll put it up. But anyway, close to 50% off, because I said $1,500 for this compared to close to $3,000 had it been a brand new device. So great. And the reason that I'm actually, I guess, giving Apple their flowers, as people say now, and have said, for a while. I don't have any Windows laptops that are as good as this Mac in any of those categories. I mean, what the screen on my Precision is good. Color reproduction is fine. It's good. I think it's 100%. I think they're both 100% PC DCI 3 or whatever it is. So color reproduction for that machine is really good. However, the difference is all Macs come with good screens. Windows computers, on the other hand, you can get one that has great color reproduction. You have some that absolutely suck. The other Dell that I have is okay. I just parted ways with a Lenovo ThinkPad. Color reproduction was absolutely terrible. And watching content on it, I was just like, this is crap. So color reproduction, a good panel on a Windows machine is not a guarantee. Speakers, nah. If I could recall one of the best laptop speakers on a Windows machine I've ever used, maybe, like I had an XPS 15 for a day. Those are probably the best ones I've had. But the speakers that I have now on the Precision aren't terrible, but they're not as good as these. Battery life, no. Those x86 chips, no. Or the x86 architecture, no. Keyboard, again, can be a hit or miss. you could have keyboards that absolutely suck on Windows machines, and you can have keyboards that are really, really good. I/O, yeah, depends on what you have. The Precision that I have up there, I have two. One has 4 USB-C ports, and I think they're Thunderbolt ports since it's an Intel machine. And then the other one I have, and that's it. So no USB-A, no HDMI. But the other one I have has 2 Thunderbolt ports, and then 2 USB-A ports, and then an HDMI, and even an Ethernet port. So yeah, it's just a wide range of options. And whatever other things I said, I forget exactly what I said for the Mac, but with an Apple laptop, you're going to get a solid device. Okay. Yes, some will be better than the other. If you spend more money, you'll get a better performing machine. But just from a general content consumption and productivity device, the MacBook Pro would do it all. Like the 14-inch one, it would be like what's in between, and that would do it all. Portability, performance, boom, you got it. Not saying that either one of these is lacking for what it's supposed to do. But with Windows products, you never know. So even though, yeah, like I said, I am still waiting for those Snapdragon chips to come out. The chips will come out, but the rest of the laptop could suck. The screen could be horrible. The speakers could be trash. The keyboard could be abysmal. The trackpad could be absolutely garbage. And then you're just like, whoa, but it's efficient. It's like, but I still just don't want to use it. So there are going to be so many variables. And the other video that I made earlier today actually was talking about the XPS 14 and 16. And it's like, all right, that computer would have been perfect for Dell to put the Snapdragon chip in it. Like, leave everything else the way that it is. And just instead of an Intel chip, put a Snapdragon chip in it. But we don't know if there's exclusivity deals, how long they last, if they exist. Are these companies going to make new product lines for this new chip, or are they going to just slap it into what exists? And with what exists, it's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. I had a 2 ThinkPads. I had a T14, I think Gen 3, and then I had a P, as in Papa, 14S, and looking at the machines, you're like, these things are almost identical. Like even port layout, I think, was almost identical. And when you go to the website, configuration, it's like there's a lot of overlap in terms of configuration. I think they technically might have been built, like the material, magnesium versus something else might have been a little bit different. But it gets to the point, it's like, all right, I get having different options within the product line. But now I'm like, why do you even have these 2 product lines? Like you should have the base of whatever this is, and then the completely maxed out version of it. And that's it, but I'm like the P14 one, it had a better screen, but the keyboard, I believe, in terms of key travel and everything was the same, but it might have been made out of something different. Like it did feel a little different. I think the trackpad was about the same. It did have a different chip on the inside. Like they both had AMD chips, but the one in the P series was a little bit different. But yeah, and that's just going to everything that I'm saying right now, that there could be a lot of variation in any of the machines that these Snapdragon chips are in. So my advice, hopefully, to anybody who will be listening is, yes, definitely wait to see what comes out. But for the PC manufacturers is, yeah, you need to have your low-end machines. You just have to have them. But implementation of some of these things, like the way that they go about it, it's just like, man, this is rough. And then when I think about the most expensive parts of these devices, it's like, yeah, obviously the chip, going to be expensive. The screen is an expensive part, but then it's like, all right, how much more expensive is the higher end screen compared to the lower end one? Do we need to have several, like, do we need to have the 45% NTSC, the 72% NTSC, then the 100% sRGB, but then we also have the OLED version. Then is the OLED 2K, 2.5K. Like, it's a lot. It really is a lot. Okay, So I'm happy to see Snapdragon or Qualcomm coming out with these chips, but I'm also a little anxious because with these Apple products, you know what you're getting. Okay, yeah, I made the whole video talking about no reason to upgrade from a performance standpoint, but from a quality standpoint, for the most part, you know what you're getting. It's a good computer. All right, it really is. And in order for me to comfortably say, all right, I'm done with my MacBooks, it has to be a total product replacement. Qualcomm can go on and on about how good their chips are, but if Dell and Asus and HP and Acer and Lenovo are still giving us this okay product line, or are only putting Snapdragon chips in their okay products, not their great products, then it's just like, well, I appreciate the performance improvements, but the rest of the package is lacking. So I'm going to have to continue using my Macs. So I'm excited. We'll see what comes. And yeah, I normally rag on Apple for doing what they do, but I can't complain about these Macs.